Ladies and gentlemen, buckle up because today's news isn't your regular blah blah budget moment. No, Malawi's parliament just turned into a live-action drama episode, and starring in the lead role, Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika himself. Calm face, sharp tone, and a warning so clear it could cut glass. Now, when APM speaks, the room listens. But today, he didn't just speak, he warned. And not with those soft, please behave kind of words. No, sir. He said, in essence, for those doing these things, I see you, and I will deal with you. Boom. Instant silence. You could almost hear every MP adjusting their collar. This wasn't just politics as usual. This was a message. And today, we're unpacking exactly what happened, who's shaking, and what this means for Malawi's power game moving forward. Because when Peter Mutharika brings Parliament to a halt, something serious is brewing. So grab your tea, my friend, because we've got 7 sizzling facts that break down this fiery Parliament moment one by one. And yes, each one comes with a dose of wit, truth, and that unmistakable Malawian spice. Let's get into it. It started quietly, respectful greetings, applause, formalities, then boom! Mutharika drops his first verbal grenade. He warns those doing these things, and trust me, the phrase hit like thunder. You could feel every politician thinking, which things exactly? He didn't name names, but he didn't have to. His tone carried the weight of a man who's seen enough funny business in the system. Picture it, the president standing tall at the 52nd session of Parliament, telling everyone, from ministers to backbenchers, that he knows what's going on behind the scenes. That's not casual talk. That's a coded threat wrapped in diplomacy. Analysts say this warning could be aimed at individuals sabotaging government programs, like those fake fertilizer scandals or shady procurement deals. Mutharika's words were simple yet loaded. Let me issue a strong warning against those selling fake fertilizer. The practice is wrong and inhuman. That's not just about crops. That's about corruption. He's basically saying, stop messing with the system or you'll taste the law. And you know what? The applause right after wasn't just politeness, it was nervous relief. Everyone was thinking, I hope he's not talking about me. But wait, if that was just the opening punch, you're going to love what came next, because the warning wasn't just about fertilizer. It stretched deep into tobacco, fuel, and power. Literally and politically. Now, if you thought fertilizer drama was juicy, Mutharika's second bomb landed in the tobacco fields. Quite literally. He announced there's a pile of unsold tobacco stuck in the central and northern regions. His voice? Firm. His message? Sharp. I am directing the Ministry of Finance and Agriculture to ensure all this tobacco is sold immediately. See, in Malawi, tobacco isn't just a crop. It's a national heartbeat. When it sits unsold, farmers suffer, Forex suffers, and ultimately the economy sneezes. And when the economy sneezes, politicians catch a cold. So Mutharika's directive wasn't just agricultural housekeeping. It was economic CPR. But here's where the plot thickens. The president blamed policy mismanagement. Translation? Someone messed up big time. And by saying it in Parliament on record, Mutharika was practically saying, I know where the mess came from, and I'm cleaning house. Social media caught fire. One user joked, when your boss names your failure on national TV, you update your CV immediately. Others praised his transparency, saying, finally, a president who calls out inefficiency by name. It's the mix of humor and authority that's making this parliament address trend across Malawi. He's not just reading a speech, he's drawing political battle lines. But tobacco wasn't the only industry under his microscope. The next bombshell was about a crisis every Malawian feels, at the pump, in traffic, and in their wallet. Ah, yes, fuel, the heartbeat of every hustle. And when Mutharika said, the fuel crisis must end and we will end it, the entire chamber nodded like a choir. Because let's be honest, everyone's tired of those endless queues that feel longer than a wedding speech. He wasn't sugarcoating it. He said, as I speak, fuel queues are still with us every day, and this must stop. Bold words. But then came the game changer. his administration will revert to the open tender fuel procurement system to ensure faster deliveries, transparency, and his favorite phrase, value for money. That line right there, music to the ears of every frustrated Malawian watching fuel prices dance like a DJ. It's a strong signal that he's ditching the old, slow, possibly corrupt procurement methods. But the real masterstroke was this. Mutharika promised to diversify fuel import sources to end dependence on only a few suppliers. Translation, we're not begging the same old friends anymore. Critics say this move could shake up some deep pockets that have controlled the fuel game for years. And that's probably why the applause after his statement sounded more like cautious clapping. The kind you do when you're impressed and slightly scared. In one speech, he managed to link governance, economy, and everyday frustration into a single powerful message. We're taking charge. But if you thought fuel was a hot topic, just wait until you hear how he tackled electricity, because that's where the president went full transformer mode. Now, let's talk about the other kind of power, the one that makes your lights blink and your fridge cry. Mutharika looked Parliament dead in the eye and said, "Power generation has been a challenge for a long time. The economy cannot grow in this situation." Boom. Simple, direct, and painfully true. Malawi's power cuts have become part of our national identity. You can plan your evening by when the electricity disappears. But here comes APM with what he called a power revolution. He pointed out that the uranium mines have resumed production, and new mining projects, the Kangankunde Rare Earth Project and Kanyika Nickel Venture, are moving toward development. Why does this matter? Because mining means more energy, more forex, and, well, more bragging rights. Then came the clever twist. He announced a sovereign wealth fund to ensure that proceeds from mineral exports actually benefit Malawians, not just a few elite briefcase companies. Imagine that, national wealth that doesn't vanish into thin air. The energy sector reforms hit different because he didn't just talk electricity, he talked empowerment. He basically said, Malawi's not waiting in the dark anymore. And you could feel the parliament react. Some cheered, others whispered, probably calculating how much of their side deals were about to get unplugged. But just when you thought APM was done electrifying the House, he turned to something even brighter, the future of Malawi's children. And this one, it lit up the whole chamber. You want to see politicians panic and parents cheer? Just say the words free education. And Mutharika did exactly that, loud and clear. My government has introduced free secondary education by abolishing tuition fees, examination fees, school fees, and ID card fees. The applause that followed could have powered a small town. For decades, education costs have kept thousands of Malawian children at home. But now, no more excuses. APM basically told every student, your dream's not on hold anymore. Of course, this move wasn't just about generosity, it was political genius. Free education equals happy parents, and happy parents equal votes. But even critics had to admit this was a masterstroke for social development. He didn't stop there. He added that no public school should require contributions to development funds or other hidden fees, except for boarding. That line hit teachers and administrators like a chalkboard eraser. Social media exploded with reactions. One user wrote, APM just schooled everyone, literally. Another said, let's see if free education also means free from corruption. Either way, the message was loud. Every Malawian child deserves a shot, and the government is taking responsibility to make it happen. But education wasn't the only system getting fixed. Next up, he addressed the chaos that's been driving everyone crazy. Passports, bureaucracy, and those long queues that make you question your life choices. If you've ever spent half your life in a passport queue, you know the pain. So when Mutharika said, I will not allow the chaos of passports to continue, every Malawian watching at home whispered, Amen. He promised to cut down queues and congestion by expanding passport printing to Mazuzu and Mangochi by the end of the financial year. That's huge. Right now, it's like there's only one magic printer for the whole country. He even revealed a new heavy-duty printer is already commissioned, boosting daily production from 500 to thousands. That's not just logistics, that's leadership through common sense. But this wasn't only about passports. It symbolized something deeper, the fight against inefficiency in public service. Mutharika said the civil service must, quote, restore discipline and professionalism and stop all unbudgeted recruitments and procedural promotions. In short, stop hiring your cousins because they know your uncle. This hit home. The message was crystal. Malawi's government must run like a business, not a family reunion. But just when people thought the speech was winding down, APM turned it up again, this time talking about women, youth, and the future of money itself. And let me tell you, this next part, it was pure fire. Just when you thought he'd finished handing out surprises, Mutharika dropped his biggest mic yet. Every constituency will receive 1 billion-kwacha annually for youth loans and another for women's businesses. You could literally see jaws drop. Politicians were already doing math in their heads. Like, wait, did he say billion with a B? This plan means each constituency can offer soft loans to youth and women, breaking barriers for entrepreneurship and financial independence. But here's the kicker. He said it's for all constituencies, no matter your political color. Whether you're government, independent, or opposition, everyone deserves equal development. Now that's a headline. It's inclusive, populist, and clever politics rolled into one. Mutharika framed it as an investment in empowerment, not a handout. He said, we need to empower our women and youth. This funding goes to all. In a country where youth unemployment is high and women's economic inclusion often feels like a dream, this could be a real game changer. Or, if poorly handled, another round of photo op politics. But either way, it got the nation talking. And that, my friends, brings us to the bigger picture. Because Mutharika wasn't just giving speeches. He was laying down the blueprint for what he calls the Malawi we want. So, here's the takeaway. Peter Mutharika didn't just open Parliament. He opened fire, warnings, directives, reforms, and vision, all in one sitting. Love him or hate him, you can't ignore him. His message was clear. Get the economy right, and everything else will follow. From fake fertilizer to fake loyalty, APM made it known there's a new seriousness in town. Whether this moment marks real reform or political theater, one thing's for sure. It set the tone for the months ahead. Now, if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't just scroll away. Hit that like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you never miss the next big story shaking Malawi and Africa. And remember, we don't just bring the news, we bring the pulse. Stay tuned, stay smart, and stay plugged into @Global Pulse News, where the facts have flavor and the headlines have heat.